April 2024 marks a significant milestone as South Africa celebrates 30 years of democracy and the Gauteng Provincial Legislature's existence. In 1994, legislatures were established to make laws for provinces and hold provincial governments accountable for service delivery and the use of public funds. Committees of the legislature consider laws, monitor the work of provincial government departments, and make recommendations about the work of departments, including their structure, functioning, and policies. Meet the chairpersons.
This discussion is brought to you by Gauteng Provincial Legislature, and the view is to introduce you to the chairpersons that are responsible for the day-to-day workings of various committees that are responsible for performing oversight on various departments of the provincial government. And remember, the provincial legislature is online at gpl.gov.za. On Facebook, you can follow Gauteng Provincial Legislature, and on X as GP Legislature. Chairperson of the Environment, Agriculture and Rural Development Portfolio Committee, Honourable Mulder. Thank you for making time to speak to the people of Gauteng.
Thank you.
Let's start with your primary objectives as a chairperson of your committee, and how you ensure that the department that you oversee is held accountable.
The way that I see it is that the portfolio committee that I've got the privilege of chairing should have the executive accountable, and that actually includes just a whole lot and a wide spectrum. Everything that the executive is busy with, the department, the executive, and everything that influences the topic. In other words, agriculture and environmental affairs.
Is there sufficient progress in terms of achieving targets, and are public funds being used and managed effectively?
We would also always like to see it better. I'm afraid to say that I think in the past it was not the case. It's not only a perception. We all know that there's been something like state capture, for instance, and corruption. And that can only happen when the oversight role of a committee failed. In other words, if the portfolio committee, oversight committee failed to hold the executive accountable and also the department, then corruption and state capture, etc., will happen. So I think in the past we were not that successful, but I'm quite confident that things has changed in the seventh administration.
And then in your report for the fourth quarter of 2023-2024 financial year, I saw a note that the committee is concerned that the department has consistently been underperforming and underspending on its budget. I mean, what do you think is the major cause of that?
One of the causes is most probably the vacant positions of critical positions, but critical posts. If those are not filled, then the committee and the department cannot fulfill its obligation. So that's one of the main causes.
And another concern that your committee would have highlighted is a challenge by the department in delivering on targets. I saw a note there, it was relating to infrastructure and capital funded projects. I mean, how is this being addressed?
Oh, what we found is in the relative short time that I've been chairing this committee is that local governments in Gauteng, I think countrywide, but the 9 municipalities in Gauteng has got huge challenges. Because if they're not going to succeed in fulfilling their mandate, then the provincial department will also struggle as far as service delivery is concerned. Because we have to intervene in lots of instances where local government fail. So it's not that simple. There are other stakeholders who are also making it difficult, and if local government failed, then the province will also fail.
The Premier's comments in the Premier's State of the Province address, which was on the 15th of August this year, various commitments were made regarding service delivery programs. I mean, what is your perspective on the oversight role of your committee, particularly in relation to your portfolio?
Well, I think the commitments is good. They're quite clear. That's how it should be. And it's for the committee to hold the executive accountable, as I mentioned in the start, and we've already started to do so in the past 2 months, and we've really made some progress. I think we've been busy. There's not a single week where we have not conducted oversight visits to sites physically, especially as far as sewage spillage into our rivers is concerned. For instance, landfill sites that is not licensed properly by local government, etc., etc. And then on the agriculture side, we visited some agri-parks and to speak to stakeholders there and to see for ourselves what's going on. So I think our oversight role is very important, to go out to the people, taking the parliament to the people, and have physical engagement.
I was looking at a statistic that said, the average age of the South African farmer is 62 years. Despite the fact that we have 34% of the population between the ages of 18 and 34. Or the age 18 to 34 make up a third of the population, I beg your pardon. Are there any programs, that are being carried out by the Environment, Agriculture and Rural Development Department, to target young people in the sector, particularly women?
Yes, there are definitely some programs. Those are from the programs that we visited. I think we could do more, we can do better, but one should remember one thing. To be a farmer nowadays is not easy. One has to protect yourself. You have to have access to markets. There's weather patterns. There's the rand, foreign currency fluctuation, etc., etc. So for a very young person to be exposed to all of that without any real experience is very difficult. That's one of the reasons why I most probably find that the average age of farmers tend to be older. And then, of course, the access to land is another thing. But to have access to land without the knowledge doesn't help a lot as well. In other words, there have to be a balance. So yes, there are definitely programs to get younger people involved, especially women as well.
The Gauteng Provincial Legislature is pretty huge on public participation. I mean, are there any bills in front of the committee that you are looking at with a view of improving the lives of people of Gauteng?
At the moment, there are not any bills that I'm aware of, but there should be. We are looking at some for the future. Just one thing on public participation, however, the public out there should remember that the government are their representatives. And the portfolio committees are overseeing, like I said, mentioned earlier, the work that the executive should be doing. They hold them accountable. In other words, it's very important that the public should be involved and stay involved. They should attend public participation sessions. And that's where they can voice themselves and where their needs would be picked up. They shouldn't stay away. That, to my experience, people started to lose their confidence in the whole political system and in government at large. But they should be involved. They shouldn't only leave it to the politicians and be involved by means of public participation processes.
And what is your overall impression in terms of the challenges that are faced by the department that you oversee? I mean, how do you plan to address these issues to ensure that there's better progress in the future?
Well, one thing that we've noted, for instance, is a fairly slow response from department. And although they're underspending, the budget's actually too small for what needs to be done. In other words, the positions should be filled so that the knowledgeable people fit for purpose should be appointed. And then if we really want to make things better, we need larger budgets. Because at the moment, the budgets are actually insufficient. And with the adjustment of budgets later this year, hopefully we will rectify that.
And, looking ahead, what legacy would you like to leave as chairperson of your committee in terms of, improving accountability, governance, and improving the lives of the people of Gauteng?
Well, as far as agriculture and rural development is concerned, what I would like to see is that people in the rural areas of Gauteng would live in harmony with each other, that there would be certain services, critical services available to them, that farmers would be able to farm profitably and sustainably. That's an important thing. And as far as environmental affairs is concerned, I want to see Gauteng clean. I want to see our streets clean.
Yeah.
I want to see the rivers clean. And that, if we could actually leave that legacy, then we would have made a difference.
Honourable F. Mulder, thank you so much for taking time to speak to us, and we appreciate the work that you do for the people of Gauteng.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.